we need to be real with our world and not sugarcoating stuff for kids or having people create false narratives and false realities for kids. Like, how you gonna throw shade or rain on another man's parade or accomplishments? That sounds like a hater. So we created a space where I guess it's called media,
Hmm.
where you can be like a glorified or a celebrity hater. That shouldn't be called media anymore. Just like you can hate on
Hmm.
anybody you want
And that's content.
in this content. Just a professional hater. How hard can you hate on Kwame Brown or any NBA player, NFL player, Deshaun Watson, Antonio Brown, all the guys that's just been in the news, Colin Kaepernick, whoever?
Ooh.
How bad can you get on a NFL, NBA player about what they're doing with their personal lives?
How many outtakes can you get? How many little clips can you get that'll get more people to watch it? No, that's a fact.
Damn. Hoping people can see, because the whole thing is like you're basically telling somebody how to think, and that shit
Mm,
needs to stop. Period. Like that's what
mm,
television does, and a lot of people don't him, exposing the media as far as what they do, as far as what they do to people that look like us.
mm,
You know what I mean? Because what you're doing is you're robbing somebody of an opportunity. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? Like what happened to him? He lost a lot of millions of dollars because people
Plenty,
was
because people was
dragging his
trashing his
name.
name. Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah, and he broke it down to like how the reason why the whole narrative, it was one, the Michael Jordan thing, and two, it was the him coming out of high school at 18. He was
Hmm.
like him being the first pick, because there was like if he's doing that, meaning he's bypassing a whole structure, which is college,
Right.
right? And you got all these little young black boys now. What they gonna do next? They're gonna be sorry for it, and then more. It's gonna be more of it. So they wanted to shut that down. So as we go into, like I said, if you look into it and you'll see for yourself, his discussion and his ideology behind why they were dragging his name is just more than Michael Jordan. Is more than just the media. It's so much to that, and it's more dealing with our community and uplifting the next brother. You know what I'm saying? And that was his mindset, and that's why he's attacking, like not, I guess attacking or responding to Steven
Retaliated.
and Matt now, because he feel like that they're tearing down black men.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they've always been tearing down black men in the media, regardless of if it's sports. He was like, let's just talk about sports. You guys get into these guys' lives. Look at Deshaun Watson. I'm just saying, look at Deshaun Watson.
Hmm.
We don't know what's going on with that whole situation, but even if he was innocent, it doesn't matter. They is
It's
dead.
blown up.
The way they report these things, it is not like they report it to be like, oh, this, that, or they keep it hut. They be like, oh, he had 20 allegations, this, that. Just make him look guilty.
Hmm.
Just might as well say he's guilty. You might as well just say
Hmm.
it without saying he's guilty.
And
We
you
don't
take
even
a
know.
guy like Ben Roethlisberger, who had the basically the same issue, and he's debating on whether or not to retire. You know what I'm saying? His career is still he has more say over what he's gonna do, whereas like the media can kind of determine like for everyone else, you know what I'm saying? For people that
Right,
look like us per se, more so than
right,
anything. They have a bigger hand in being able to foil your career than somebody like him.
right. And
It's
and and
crazy.
I like to use this as an example. And I know people might think I'm crazy, when I say Antonio Brown.
Mhm.
Yeah, when I say Antonio Brown. Yes, I said it. Yes,
I
because
love that one. That's my favorite, I think. That's my favorite. Easy.
we had the conversation about, concussion, this, that, and the third.
Mhm.
But I felt like he was taking matters into his own hand. And whenever you see a black male do that, you're the enemy.
Mm.
You're the enemy. Regardless
Ooh.
of, you can say whatever. When you're taking your opportunities into your own hand, you're like, you know what? Forget you NFL. Forget you. Forget you. I'm doing it my way.
Mm-hmm. And when you walked away, he said something too that I thought was really profound, but you weren't there. He said when they see something that's different, he was like Bigfoot or something like that.
Yeah.
When they find something that's unique, they cage it up, or like something like, you know, if you're stepping outside of that norm,
Right.
that whatever they have that's already set in stone for people, that what people are already doing, you know what I'm saying? They cage it up, they try to hush you and stuff like that in that same way. And they really, with athletes, it seems like, yeah, they blackball you.
Right.
More so than anything, the first thing they do is, oh, this guy's crazy, he's this, he's that, he's the other. No, that's a fact. That's the first thing they go to.
Right. And like I said, I'm watching from afar, and I don't know. I'm just using examples from like what we know. And I said Antonio Brown, and now I'm gonna say go back to Deshaun Watson. What was the problem? Deshaun Watson wanted out. What was the problem? He was under contract. What was the problem? He was willing to walk. Oh, all of a sudden now we have all these allegations. Come on now. So my thing is not saying that it didn't happen, but the timing of everything. Right. For me, when I first started watching it happen, he was talking about, oh, he's upset. That was the first report. He's upset. He wants out of Houston. He's not coming back. He said he's not coming to training camp. Boom, allegations. I'm like, what? You know, and then they try to separate it. Oh, no, but I see foul play. But that's me. I'm just speaking from afar. You know what I mean?
Right.
And my thing is like, why does this continue to happen? I don't care if you're a black male in college football. I don't care if you're a black male in NFL, NBA, if you're a coach. It doesn't matter, dude. I think somebody was talking about the head coach Willie Taggart that was at Florida State, where they gave him a couple years and they fired him. You get coaches that in the college ranks that's been at schools that are god awful, that they continue to pay. And the thing is, when you get in those positions, they pay you a lot of money. So those black guys, they'll take it quick. Nope. Those white coaches that suck, I'm sorry, that are not competent. They let them lead. And the thing is, the perception that it creates for our reality is just like what he said. You always need a white man in front of you. The black man can't do it. And it breeds that incompetence and make you feel like you can't do it. Right. That's So the thing is, where do we go from here, and how do we, in a sense, navigate ourselves in this world as men? You know, teaching young men. I know eventually one day you want to have kids, and I'm still me. I'm still holding back. Maybe one day, you know, I might pop one out or two. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we navigate teaching the youth not to, in a sense, hate on a guy like Kwame? By whatever Stephen A. Smith, whatever he wants to do, we cannot control that. And I'm big on letting people let them be. You know, and Kwame can defend himself because they're talking about his name. He's not talking about me. We're just talking about the situation. So he can be who he wants to be. But what our kids need to learn, or all kids in this generation, is to learn how to appreciate the steps that it takes for a man to accomplish a goal. Whether it's to go to the NBA, whether it's to be a lawyer, whatever it's to. What did he do to accomplish that goal? You can't throw shade on that. It's not your right. How can you throw shade on an accomplishment? I never seen that before, but we live in that type of reality. Like I told you, the kid was like, oh, he was on a Tennessee Titan bench. I say, you do it. You get on a Tennessee Titan bench. Let's see how hard that is.
Right.
So how do you knock a guy's accomplishment? How do we get into a world where that's a thing, where that's cool, that's clickbait, that gets you views? I guess it puts money in your pocket. So is that a thing? Is that like a sellout thing? Like, what would you call that? Is that like selling out?
I mean, that's the closest thing I feel like we come to it. Yeah. Because it's crazy. Like you said, that work is not really respected. Like, and it makes it a lot harder to put things into perspective too, especially for kids.
Right.
You know? Because like, okay, you could just clown this dude, you know, but you have no real scope of like what it took, the amount of discipline and stuff like that, the amount of work that it actually took to get there, right? Like you said.
And that's big. And just like you said, on the grand scheme of things, and he broke it down, right? And then this is why I love his mindset. He broke it down, and he was talking about Stephen A. talking to those kids in the colleges. He was like, you're encouraging kids to go to college, in a sense, to create debt. I went to the NBA and fell into millions. I owe nobody. You like, people owe me. Or he was just basically explaining, you know, his situation. And I'm like, damn, nobody gave it to these kids that perspective. Everybody just kept calling them a bust.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I don't understand, how could we have come to a world where, like I said, you can throw shade on somebody's accomplishment. How did it happen?
Man, that's a serious question right there.
Okay, I have an answer. You know, I have an answer.
Okay,
so,
give me let's see. Let's talk about it.
So the answer is not what you see, but is what you hear the most. So if you continue to hear something over and over and over and over and over again, it doesn't matter if it's a lie, you'll start to believe it.
You start to believe it, right?
And Stephen A. has one of the loudest voices when it comes to sports media. Like, you hear his voice the most. You said it.
Loud, literally, but also frequency. Yes, definitely. He's, like I said, he's all over for sure.
And he's definitely like funny TV. It's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? It's entertaining to watch. But I never understood between him and Skip. And I understand it's a debate show, so I know what's happening. Meaning, one person is gonna choose a side, regardless if they believe it or not. It's a show. And most people are not grasping.
Wow.
That.
No, that's real.
Yes. You know what I mean?
Because I was watching, I'm like, these dudes is really like, they seem like they're fuming over these players that they don't really have no bearing over their life per se, and they're like yelling at each other, like about to like get this man a cup of water. He does not look healthy right now. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this is nuts. It's tough to me. Like, yeah, they seem genuinely upset over these talking points about athletes. Like, yeah.
So it's not necessarily real. Personally, I think they go backstage, of course, and talk about, okay, this is what we're going to talk about. I'm choosing this stance or whatever. And they talk about it, of course, before they get on air. So I never really took it at that. But like I mentioned before, you know, Stephen A. played basketball. And I'm pretty sure Skip or somebody, they were athletes. And I know a lot of reporters were wannabes, you know what I'm saying, that didn't make it. So can we really take their opinion? They sound like haters half the time. That's what used to really irk me, because I'm not big on hating on people. But when you call guys a bust and you're saying this about people and this and that, I'm like, who gave you the microphone? And why? You know what I'm saying? Because as people continue to hear things, regardless of what they see, like I said, it was 1 year, I think he said he averaged 19 and 9. Regardless of what they see, they're gonna say he's a bust. How?
Because that's what they keep hearing.
That's what they keep hearing.
Like you said, right?
So the question is, what do you know about Allen Iverson?
If you ask me, I know Allen Iverson was great, but I know he had like some controversial stuff, and it kind of,
That
it messed up his name for sure.
right.
Hmm.
And I wonder how like things like that can happen to a guy like that, where the press just like taints his name. And then you have a guy like a LeBron James. I'm not knocking LeBron. I mean, but they're human. Those guys are human, and you'll never hear anything bad about him. You know what I'm saying? For the
Right.
I mean, you can tell me I might be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or Steph Curry. Let's use Steph Curry as an example. I
My
like
boy.
Steph Curry. You know, I'm a Steph Curry fan. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I was a LeBron fan. I'm not saying I'm not a LeBron fan, but when he was in Miami, he did his thing. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? But it's certain guys that you just won't hear nothing bad about.
My boy was just telling me they came out with something saying like LeBron, I guess he went to like a party or something like that. He
Right.
violated the health and safety protocol,
Right.
but he's not really seeing anything for it because it's about to be the playoffs and stuff. They said, oh, like it wasn't bad enough to where it would be an issue for
Damn.
the viruses. They're picking and choosing kind of the
Damn.
situations that they
Right
want. Isn't
on
that crazy?
cue.
Right
Look
on
at that.
cue.
Right on
Pick and
cue.
choose. No, that's real. That's real serious.
But
So what? So then, so I'm thinking about it now, right? Almost to the point where it seems like that narrative was being pushed with some sort of agenda, but like at his expense, right? But then it's a money league, you know what I'm saying?
right.
So what does that do? I guess from the college standpoint, like you said, absolutely, because that's a whole institution, and we're
Right.
already going through whatever. The NCAA, they're going through their problems with the playing the players and stuff like that. We see how that's kind of panned out. Now
Right.
that's making some headway, but some programs like canceling some of their sports and stuff like that, just on a money tip. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So I wonder what would that benefit be, I guess, to the league and to those organizations, to push that narrative, oh, this guy was a bust, you know.
Or Kwame Brown, or like what he was saying, that because he mentioned that as well, was that that they would have to pay a lot of kids that were younger a lot of money,
Hmm.
and they didn't want to continue to do that, so they knew. I guess they figured out a way. They did whatever with it. You'll have to watch the video. I'll try to send you the video.
Hmm.
And he mentioned something about the G League or something like that. That guys would, instead of going to college, they would try to
Hmm.
do the G League. And when they
Right, to
go
get
through
in.
that process, you pay them way less. G League guys get into the NBA and they get out. You very rarely find guys from the G League that sustain a career. It happens,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? But so that he was saying that just to get the player at a cheaper price, you know what I mean? So yeah, so they can find a diamond in the rough and not
Wow.
filter and have to pay these kids all that money. They go through
Right.
that G League process. They get paid way less, and they might make a roster, but then they might not. And the NBA don't really lose that much money.
And they have that potential to scout them even more, to put them under an even bigger microscope. Right.
Yeah, dude is deep, man. Like I
That's
said,
real.
they definitely, he was like, they barking up the wrong tree, and then I think he's right. I think because the thing is, think about how much the reason why they try to silence athletes, or see. All right, so this is what I'm gonna tell you. What is weird to me that a lot of people don't mention, because I don't have, like, at the moment, a big platform. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to
Hmm.
you and a few people that might hear this or whatever the case may be. But what I thought was weird, or what I think is weird, is when these players get into scandals or whatever they call them, why can't we hear them talk? I don't want to hear a publicist. I don't want to hear the team speak. I don't want to hear allegations. I want to hear Deshaun Watson. I want to see him. He has an Instagram. We have all this stuff.
Hmm.
Why can't I hear him talk? I don't want to hear nobody talk for him. And the
Mm.
media loves to talk for people.
And
Why?
they have that concept of like media training, whereas like one guy might not be quote unquote media trained. Basically, he's gonna go up there and say how he feel. He's not gonna say what somebody else want him to say, type deal. He's not gonna frame it in a way that's healthy for people to consume, type deal. Don't
Right.
don't 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 put that guy in front of the camera, because he's actually gonna speak what he wants to speak.
He's gonna tell the truth. And
Yeah.
that's the reason why Kwame said that they didn't put a lot of cameras in his face, and the interviews that he had were really real. And he mentioned that. He was like, all these years, this guy's been saying this about me. He was like, how many interviews have you seen with me? How many times have you seen me speak? And I was like, wow, I don't even think I knew he had a voice. I never heard him speak.
It's funny, yeah. I watched the video. I was like, oh, okay, this is what he sounds like. Like I never heard anything from him. No, that's a fact.
But you'll hear LeBron, you'll hear Steph, and I'm just not knocking. I'm just calling out the stars of the league.
No, yeah, because they have, they pick their guys, obviously, or at least because who's a guy, like a James Harden, right? He's a guy that's playing at a great level, but he does not have that same kind of, push. And he's one of those people, he'll have more outtakes of like maybe snapping back at the media a little bit, or maybe like, yo, come on, like what are you asking me? Like a Russell Westbrook or something like that. He's got that one clip, he's like, yo, what are y'all talking about? Those guys don't get as much, you know what I'm saying? They don't really get as much FaceTime.
No, because those guys are gonna say things that don't align with whatever the idea of what the media wants to portray as what an athlete is. And for some reason, an athlete can't be an intellectual. Only certain athletes can be intellectual. You know what I mean? And Kwame is showing you that he was way smarter than that. He mentioned that. Like he was young and he had guys coming at him, bullying him in a sense, the media, players. Damn, Michael Jordan?
Right.
And I think this was what really make people like kind of open their eyes, like, wait.
Yeah, the Jordan.
This dude wasn't a nice guy. He wasn't a nice guy. I mean, you said you watched The Last Dance. They was talking about him punching people in the nose. And as an athlete, I'm not saying that you never want to. You have to defend yourself, whether it's basketball, football. I mean, you played in high school. You go to college, and I'm pretty sure in the pros too, you have to defend yourself. You get in the fights. That's like, for some reason, like, why are we trying to create a culture where we hide that from kids? You don't have, if you play in a sport, you can't be a punk.
Right.
Stop trying to make punks play football, basketball, or anything. You can't. It's like trying to make somebody who don't like fighting, make them a boxer, a UFC fighter. How stupid is that? You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have that heart or that mentality, then it's just not that. So you can't hide Michael Jordan's mentality. No. So what if he was one of the great? That mindset, obviously, in a sense, helped him become that. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that he had to be an a-hole about it, but most people say that's how he was. Like, people that really know him. You know what I'm saying? And he treated an 18-year-old like crap. Instead of being a mentor as a man and embracing him, he just put him down. That's fucked up. I'm sorry. Like, you can call him great, you can call him the GOAT. That's just basketball. That has nothing to do with character and behavior. And that's the whole, and I think that's one of the biggest elephants in the room of what like media putting them down was part of the MJ deal, because they ran off of what MJ was saying, because MJ was upset because he wasn't getting what he wanted. And that sounds like a brat. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, just from the outside looking in, somebody was to do that, trying to control the situation or control information. And what he said, what was crazy too, that the media don't say, like, and Stephen A say, it's even one clip where he said, dude can't dribble, he can't shoot, he can't run. What?
He's an NBA player.
We listen to this guy. I mean, I said I do it too. And I don't say necessarily I listen to what he's saying. I hear him talking, but I can't. For me, that makes no sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then the crazy thing, like I said, what Kwame said was, they say all of that, but Jordan came back and signed him again for the Bobcats. Like, he went there again the second go around. He left. They traded him or whatever, and then they signed him back. They picked him up as a free agent or something like that. So obviously he couldn't have been that bad.
Out of the talent pool. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Crazy. But like I said before, man, like, we need to be real with our world and not sugarcoating stuff for kids, or having people create false narratives and false realities for kids. Like, how you gonna throw shade or rain on another man's parade or accomplishments? That sounds like a hater. So we created a space where I guess it's called media,
Mm-hmm.
where you can be like a glorified or a celebrity hater. That shouldn't be called media anymore. Just like you can hate on
Mm-hmm.
anybody you want
And that's content.
in this content. Just a professional hater. How hard can you hate on Kwame Brown or any NBA player, NFL player, Deshaun Watson, Antonio Brown, all the guys that's just been in the news, Colin Kaepernick, whoever?
Ooh.
How bad can you get on a NFL, NBA player about what they're doing with their personal lives?
How many outtakes can you get? How many little clips can you get that'll get more people to watch it? No, that's a fact.
Damn.
And
Go ahead.
I was gonna say just from a sports standpoint, like they kind of groom the guys who are gonna be leaders, whereas like that's there's steps that you take beforehand. There's like there's character pieces to leadership that's supposed to be there, whereas they put these things into these guys and they kind of feed them these ideas, this and this, and then they platform them, you know what I'm saying? So it's that's it. And you don't have no choice but to listen to, like you said, not really listen to, but if it's in front of your face, if it's in your ear the whole time, you start to believe. Right.
And the whole thing of if we think about this from on the grand scheme of things, and if we can talk about our personal lives, not too much. Like I said, I can edit whatever. My dad was there. I know you had your situation. Your dad was there for a moment, and then he's not there. And we have a lot of cases in the community, or if you want to call it the culture, where the father is not present, right? So, just like you said, they choose and platform, and they choose, give information and platform certain people that's going to portray an image of whatever role model that they want for these little black boys. And it's not Kwame, because what he's saying makes sense about building community, owning stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't really I do watch all the smoke, but I don't watch all of it. So I can't speak on what he's saying about Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. But I mean,
he was talking spicy about Matt Barnes, boy.
Oh,
I don't know what happened between Matt Barnes and his ex-wife or something, but he was, oh my gosh, he made me want to do some digging, because boy.
I think she cheated on him with Derek Fisher. You remember Derek Fisher? They was on played together on the Lakers. That's why I'm saying, dude, like he was in the NBA. They know each other. Meaning everything.
He was on the Lakers at that time. Okay.
That's why he was saying, like, I hope you didn't see him in the shower and know that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He is holding no punches. Because the thing is, what he knows is that those dudes, not necessarily saying they're chasing clout because they're already up there, but that they're going to create content to maintain that.
Right.
He was like, y'all not using my name no more. Nah. Don't do that. He's like, don't do that. At least put some respect on it. Because that's why he said he called Steven Jackson. He called a text or whatever he said he did. And he was like, dude, I know that's your homeboy, but damn, y'all, both of y'all got to put some respect on my name. You co-signing me not being part of the NBA, basically my job, like what I did wasn't relevant.
Right.
He was like, look, you didn't get picked first. All jokes aside, they all played around the same time.
Yeah,
so
that's
real. They have no, because the thing is, right, with Steven Jackson, if you're gonna compare careers, Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes, Kwame Brown, they're like, because their expectations are a little lower. Not Steven Jackson, because he was supposed to be a good player too, but he didn't get picked first. So you're not expecting somebody who get picked, like he got picked in the mid rounds or whatever the case may be. I don't know the exact pick, but you're not expecting him to be Kwame Brown because Kwame got picked first.
Right.
It's just like LeBron. Like people were expecting LeBron or Kyrie, they got picked first. You know what I'm saying? So they expect them to be up here compared to, let's say, think of somebody like a Draymond Green, right? He overachieved because nobody thought he was gonna do anything, and then he's an okay player. I'm not knocking, like he's a good player, but at his skill set, he's a decent player, but
Right.
he's
His
overachieved because of where he got picked.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a matter of fact too, and they don't take that in consideration. So Kwame is saying like, and overall, like, shoot, I'm the man compared to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I made more money. I did this, I did that. You know what I'm saying? So if in comparison, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like, how can you throw shade on my name? You know what I'm saying? So like I said, that's the world we live in, and I don't understand it for the life of me. Like, how can you let somebody talk you into seeing something that's not real? I'm still trying to
Right.
like figure that out in the world. That
He's
because
really just.
go ahead.
I was gonna say he's really just asking them to really like think for yourself on that tip, because yeah, like you said, it's really just you hearing it over and over. Whereas, and these guys played with him, probably would have seen his talent level. Yeah, you never know. Probably might have got dunked on him once or twice, or dunked on by him once or twice, or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
7-footer.
Man, they know dude not a scrub. He's
Yeah,
not a
for
scrub.
sure.
You can watch the game and watch him in games. He's not a scrub. He's just didn't live up to the whatever expectations they wanted him to
As a
live up
number one
to.
pick.
You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like people have to start to open their eyes when they see a situation like this, because of, like I said, what we always talk about: perception creates your reality. So what does that mean about, if that's just sports, right? We're using sports as an analogy for life. If that's just sports, what about news coverage? What about everything else? What about music? What about all these things that entertainment, these things that we find that people love, you know what I'm saying? Like in the culture, just like you said, how is that creating a perception for us? Like what we're seeing with these, not now we talked about the athletes, these rappers.
Yeah,
these
and
celebrities.
entertainment is not even just entertainment anymore, because people are pulling, like they're pulling what they see, trying to pull it into their real life, trying to make it work for them. You know, it's like, it's not even, it's more than just entertainment now, because that's what's molding what people are like trying to set their goals for, I guess, if you will, which is, you know, that's not good.
No, it's not, because as we both play sports, everybody's not gonna make it to the NFL, and that's okay. We shouldn't make that the narrative for our, and that's another thing that he's saying too, and a point that I agree upon, and that I know you agree upon wholeheartedly, that that's not our only path. And why is this being projected onto us like this is our only path? There's other things that we can do to create a better community for ourselves, a better environment for ourselves, a better community and environment for our families, if we figure out what we truly are passionate about. And it might not even be sports.
Right. And his career is over, and you calling him a scrub, but that's this portion of his life, and you can't attest to, and he's talking about all the stuff that he's doing afterwards, you know what I'm saying, where, like you said, he might really be the man in comparison to some of these dudes that's calling him a scrub, but he's working for himself, whereas he's got to make, they got to make some work.
They do work for ESPN. They work for, and then one of his
ESPN, that's ABC. That's like a huge, like, if you want to talk about the like Fortune 500 and just that whole establishment of like media, that's huge media conglomerate.
Disney, dude, you can't. I don't think you
Disney,
bigger than Disney, man.
How much? Yeah, exactly.
No, and he said that too, like, just like, he was like, y'all talk all this stuff about me being a bust, but he was like, I done made more money than you can ever see or touch. I'm like, damn. So I'm like, he basically made his career, not just that, of course, 'cause I mean, he did other things. I don't want to knock him either, but basically made his career about talking about dude, and dude still made more money.
So and this is more than just basketball money he's talking about.
Dog.
Obviously.
So the whole thing is like I said, the hope for people to start to really see. And another thing I want to hold on to is Kwame being able to trust himself and being able to go within himself, and it's something we have conversation about all the time, is trusting who you are and believing in yourself. Because once you understand that, people can't fool with you. They
Mm-hmm.
cannot mess with your head if you understand who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
That's real, yeah. And I've been like going through kind of like having that guiding principle, you know, like he said, he keeps saying, oh, I'm my mama's son, and like he stand on that, like he like I know who I am type deal, you know what I'm saying? That's real. You gotta have something that you don't deviate from to make sure you know where you're at, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing is you have to be able to do the work. And the work comes is as he says, as you shut everything off, cut everything off, media, phones, whatever, and just focus on yourself. Focus on your experiences, focus on your thoughts, and focus on what you want. If you don't know what those things are, figure it out. But spend time with yourself so you can be able to do that thing, so you can be grounded and have a foundation. So when things like what happened to Kwame, as far as I'm gonna use that, like the world attacking you, if you feel
Mm-hmm.
that way, the world attacking you, you can be able to stand on your own too and be like, man, I ain't worried about that. Man, I ain't
Mm-hmm.
worried about this person talking about you. I ain't worried about that. Most people can't handle that.
That's
Most people,
real.
it takes a strong person to basically get clowned for 10 years, 10, 20, whatever, and don't say anything. Not try to rebuttal, not trying to get on, give me a microphone. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, all right, whatever, y'all can have it. Y'all can have it. He was like a ticket, he was a ticking time bomb. Not in that way, like he was upset, but he's like, oh, he was like, one of those when you have that I wish a nigga would
Yeah,
attitude.
he's like, we'll see who has the last laugh type deal,
Yes, I
right?
wish
He
a
said, I
nigga
wish a
would
nigga
talk
would.
about me now. I done created this YouTube. I wish a nigga would, and then boom, Becky with the good hand.
Mm, he's got him. He's got the smoke now. He's pushing.
Yeah, yeah, man. Look, man, I'ma just sit back and watch, man. And my thing is I want to say putting out proper information, if that's the right word, but putting out information that's gonna help people find what they're looking for. Not putting out information that's gonna confuse people. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you an example, right? So
Mhm.
our, just say the best or the hottest, let's just say that hottest rapper is
Mhm.
gonna get on the interview. You're gonna see a video. He's gonna have 1,000,000 cars and 1,000,000 chains. That's not, no, no. That you're giving people a false reality. That's not you.
Mhm.
That's not real. You wear all those chains every day, and if you do, I mean, hey, but like I said, like Kwame talked about owning businesses, owning
Mhm.
this, like showing athletes, like people being successful and showing you how they got that success.
Right.
That's real. That's real. And that's
Right.
what people need to see. Not these false realities. I see my camera's about to die, so we definitely gonna have to wrap it up. But
Okay, for sure.
not these false realities. People need to see and hear the truth. So
Right.
go ahead, what do you have to say? I'm gonna let you go ahead and speak on that because I don't know how long.
I was just gonna say, I mean, even along that line too, I was watching something recently with like Spencer Dinwiddie, if you know, on the Nets, and he
Mhm.
has like his own shoes. He was talking
Mhm.
about how he denied like Nike and all them and stuff like that. Basically, was saying, you know, if I can sell my shoes, you know what I'm saying, and I could afford to buy a couple pairs of whatever y'all trying to send me, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying,
Mhm.
and it's real, yeah. Like he had it set in his brain to do his own thing, and you know what I'm saying, it's paying off for him that
Right.
same way.
Right. And I like guys like Spencer, guys like even like like a LeVar Ball, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
just think about that and how the image that they painted him.
Right.
And I mentioned that before about the baller brand and about,
It's so consistent too. That's crazy. That's wow.
right, consistently with the the blackmail, then make him look
Mm-hmm.
crazy. If he's not saying the things that they want him to say, this guy's owning his own stuff. Why
And it
wouldn't we
pan
want to
out.
celebrate what he's doing? He celebrates his kids. And
Right.
if, like, you know what I'm saying, he loves his kids. He's gonna say, oh, of course he's not gonna say Michael Jordan is better than his kids. He's never gonna say that. Yes, my kids are better than MJ. How
That's
many
real.
people feel like that? He doesn't
That's
care.
real.
He's gonna say it. That's
Yeah.
blasphemy to the media.
No, that's so real too. Like you,
Those are
that's
his
awesome.
kids. Why
Mm-hmm,
would he
mm-hmm.
say something else?
Right.
It's not another player. He created that person. Of course he rocking with his kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand it, man. But like I said, that mind shift needs to happen where we put the right people in place and we show the kids and the people what's really going on, the hard work that it takes for those guys to accomplish whatever goal. Like I said, whatever platform, whether it's sports, whether it's entertainment, whatever it is, or whether it's business, entrepreneurship, we need to have real conversations. Man, hold on.
Is that the camera?
Yeah, hold on.
Mhm.
All right, there we go. And
Mhm.
that's switched to my computer. But yeah, man, like, damn, I lost my train of thought. We need to see and have the right people in place, man. Can you hear me? Is everything still the same?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're just
Yeah,
talking about just showing, showing the actual work that it takes to get there on
right.
every
You know
level,
what I
like
mean?
in different industries.
Yeah, man, and not like I said, not knocking Stephen A. Whatever you do, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, but not throwing shade on somebody to be successful. That is, I'm sorry, that's like selling out. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? You talking about somebody in a negative way, and a lot of times they like to call it like constructive criticism. But like I said before to you earlier, I don't know if we were on air or not. Constructive criticism comes from your coach, not the media. I don't need you to tell me about my game. What? Imagine it. Just think about it. If you were in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, I just want to put it in perspective for people. And the guy from the Orlando Sentinel or whatever, right? After the game, we're like, dude, why you missed that block? You should have kicked this way. That you're gonna look at him like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's real.
Go do your job. You know what I'm saying? So think about it. Now we've created a world where these guys can broadcast, like you said, ESPN, Walt Disney. They have a huge platform. Huge. These same guys that were reporting are telling people who's good or not. Isn't that up to the coach and the GMs and the people who signed the contracts? Now, if they have microphones, maybe we should all tune in.
That's real. There's a certain level of secrecy that they seem to want to maintain.
What do you mean?
Like, just, I guess in that way, like the people in the league, they don't really get the same opportunity to kind of be on the screen and stuff and actually talk about the real, you know what I'm saying, the real behind the scenes stuff. And we have people that's like purported to be experts or whatever, but they gotta represent somebody else's agenda at the end of the day. You know.
So overall, just to wrap everything up, what would you say to people who are watching this or watching Kwame Brown, Matt Barnes, Stephen Jackson, Stephen A, whoever you want to call them? What would you say, or what would you take from the stance of ownership, right? The ownership of this guy was a professional athlete. He owns his stuff, right? And I don't know what's going on with Matt Barnes. Like I said, we're just speaking from an outside perspective, right? So, Mike, so what would you say about ownership? These guys that he owns his stuff. And you have guys that played in the same league and they're working for people, meaning they have to work in the media. I don't know if they have to. I'm not saying they have to. Maybe they want to. But basically, that podcast is I think it's sponsored by Showtime. I think they work for ESPN. They work for people, meaning they have to be on the clock. They have to be at a certain place at a certain time. They have to film. They have to do this. He does not have to do any of that stuff. So, from your perspective as a young guy, what do you take out of the situation between, Kwame and those guys as far as ownership and working for people?
I think everybody like the culture, quote unquote. Like everyone is talking about ownership right now, but you really have to take those steps, and like before you can own like a thing, you gotta own yourself.
Woo!
You know what I'm saying? You gotta because your ideas and stuff like that is all you have,
Right.
before you can own anything else type deal. So just thinking for yourself, doing your own research, not necessarily listening to all, you know what I'm saying? Because like he said, he had to go into himself and really lock in to make sure that he was straight first and make sure he was able to handle his business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So more so than anything, I would say, yeah, if you gotta own anything, own yourself first and make sure whatever is coming from whatever standpoint you're coming from is truly your own.
Hey, that's deep. I think I have to end on that. No, I gotta give you one of these.
For sure.
I think I gotta give you one more time.
That's real.
It's dope.
I love the soundboard.
Huh?
I said I love the soundboard. This is fire. It's a great touch.
Dude, that was dope. Like I said, you have to trust self. In order for you to start making those big decisions, you have to understand who you are and where you want to go. And then, like you said, you own yourself, then we can start moving outward and doing things that way. And instead of, just like you said, listening to these people in their worlds and their narratives, let's start listening to ourselves. You know what I mean? And listening to my thing is being connected with the heart. And I know I don't talk about it as much. I mentioned it before, because understanding what your heart wants, because you can feel it. You can feel it when something feels bad and this, that, and the third. And my thing is trusting that. I don't care what anybody say to you. They don't know what you feel like. You know what I mean? So you have to be able and be willing to trust those feelings in your body, your gut, you know what I'm saying? And knowing where to go and navigate and trusting yourself and understanding that you're not going to always make the right decision, but you're going to learn from the decisions that you made. Just trust it. Just trust it. You know what I'm saying? Just trust it, because it's like, I call it the roller coaster of life, right? That's what I call it. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be willing to ride that bad boy. Good, bad, up, down, around, twisted, all of that. And still be able to be grounded and understand who you are when you come off that bad boy.
That's real.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I'm gonna do my little outro, but before that, I'll let you say anything if you want to say anything before we go ahead and end this broadcast off.
Just wanna, it's cool to look into it now. I'm glad that you kind of broke it down a little bit more, so now I can get to look into some of the stuff that he's saying as well on my own too. Like the same way, just doing your own research type stuff. Looking at it for yourself and really, somebody like I read like a little bit of philosophy or whatever, and he's saying like, do not settle for just getting the gist of the situation, and dig deep if it's something that interests you. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying a lot of real stuff. So I think, and anybody else too who maybe might have agreed with some of the stuff he said, maybe the way he said it, like you said, he's speaking with a lot of passion. Yeah. But it was definitely a lot of real content in there, a lot of real things that he said. So, just encouraging people, do your own research, like you said, trusting yourself. And the things that you don't like, you don't sit in something just because you feel like it's what you're supposed to be doing. But it's not actually something that's coming from you. Right. And that for me in my life, and not saying I never did things like that, but those things never really sat well with me, or I never did well in those environments. I'm not gonna lie, when I had jobs that I didn't like, I was an asshole.
dude. I was not the nicest person, like to my managers, or it was times I was the manager and stuff. Like I was never like mean to my employees, but the people that were on top of me, I felt some type of way because I always not saying that I feel like I'm the boss, but once I'm adequate and I understand I'm competent, don't tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? And I've always been that type of person. I like if I'm not, like if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna watch and I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna listen. But once I feel like I master it, don't let me figure it out. That's me. Let me like I'm up to a place where I understand what I'm doing. Now I can kind of figure out and navigate myself. So I always kind of had a hard time with like people over me once I understood my job. Unless they were like another person that were competent and understood. But sometimes I don't know. In most cases, some cases, you get people who are over here and they're a-holes. You know what I'm saying? They want to be this, they want to be that, they want to tell you what to do, this, that, which is their job. I just had a hard time with that.
All right. Yeah.
I had a hard time with that, man. And I'm a person that has to be able to relate to a person, meaning like I understand the system, meaning you and I are human beings. This job is telling you your status is higher than mine because one, they might be paying you more, or one, they gave you a position, a title. So if a person is in that position and they act like a human being, meaning not an a-hole, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm fine with them. But I become the a-hole back when you just treat it like a job, like in a sense, like, meaning you lead with the job. You don't lead with, what's up, man? How you doing? Like, you're a human being. Like, how's your family? What's going on with you?
Take the human aspect out of it, right?
Exactly.
And it's people identifying with that title more so than, oh man, identifying with their title more so than identifying with themselves. I don't want to, key in on what you talk about too much, but that one just came to me as real.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying?
Are you starting to get it?
That's real.
Are you in the gym, baby? You know what I'm saying? But seriously, as I understood or understand what life is, you're just another person like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you don't have the right, and that's what used to make me mad. I don't want to talk about it like on air too much, about when I was a manager and I was working with other people and we had employees under us, and I was an a-hole to the other managers because I saw how they treated the employees. I'm like, I told you, I was never an a-hole to the employees because I felt like they were working with me and they have a choice. Like they're, you know what I'm saying? You're that boss. You know what I'm saying? So I've always were fine with them. And a lot of times they were kids too. So, I worked well with kids, but I had a hard time with managers and supervisors who disrespected people. I disrespected them right back. For the people like, I let's just say, I'm gonna tell this story, or I did the camera. I don't think I didn't mention. But I was working at a store, whatever the case may be, and this was my first time closing the store as a manager. And we had a time limit, and the head manager, I think they call it like the unit director of the store or whatever, she gave me a time limit that the store should be closed, nice and clean, whatever. That was my job to handle that. I had to handle the money at the end of the night. I had to do all of that. This was my first time doing it. I kid you not. Just say I'm looking at the clock, right? I had till 12 to have everything shut, clean, and out the door. They look at cameras, you know what I'm saying? And it's like 11:45. My palms sweat, just like nervous. I'm like, man, like I don't know what's gonna happen. My first time doing it. I'm getting. I'm nervous. I didn't make it. Let's just say I didn't make the time.
Right.
She tried to find me. Like what we would get at the end of the month, we got bonus checks for whatever, the store made a certain amount. We got a check off of that bonus or whatever.
Right.
And she tried to find me. I'm like, I didn't even get a bonus check yet. I'm like, I'm not. She gave me the fine card. The fine card said I didn't close the store on time. I said, I'm not signing that. I'm like, this is my first time closing. I'm not signing that. You know what I'm saying? And me and her went, she was like, get out my store.
Yeah, I went at it.
I was like, okay. No, I'm not one of those people. They have to pay me. I'm a manager. I wasn't on the clock. She said, get out my store. I said, okay. And I walked right outside. And the person who hired me, I called. I'm like, I'm gonna cover all my ducks in a row, right? I'm like, can she do that? And they were like, no. I was like, oh, I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm going. Once I found out she couldn't do that, I was like, fuck that signed card. I ain't signing shit. So I went back in the store. Of course, she had to let me back in the store. She wrote up another sign. She must have called the supervisor or something. She wrote up another sign, a fine card, but this time it just had a warning on there. It didn't have like a fine. Okay, I signed it and gave it to her. Fuck that shit. I know my rights. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to do that shit. And she was like a big little, but because she was small, and she would bully all the employees. Nobody would say anything to her. And I was just like your boy Kwame. I was waiting. I'm like, I'm not one of these people. She would yell at the other managers. I'm like, I was waiting. She ain't ever try me like that no more, dog. I kid you not. I was her favorite before I left that damn store. Because I was the only one that stood up to her. You know what I'm saying? And it's because I understood who I was. It didn't have shit to do with the job. You're not about to disrespect me as a person. First off, you got to respect me as a human being. If I did something wrong, you don't just take my money. I'm new, right? A good manager is just like MJ. We just use this as an example. A good leader was gonna pull the young person under their wing, like, look, this is how you do it. I understand you messed up here, but let's just use this as a tool to learn. Right. And then you guide them. You don't just throw dirt on them. And we should not continue living in a world like that. I don't give a fuck what your job title is. You know what I'm saying? You don't treat people that way. You know what I'm saying? And we've come into a culture like a Stephen A. Smith where you can just badmouth and talk about people instead of praise them and help them be a better person. So what is shitting on Kwame Brown do for Stephen A. Smith? Right.
Nothing. Yeah. What can you really hope to gain out of that? Now that's real. Really just another
man. You know what I'm saying? But like I said before, to go back to that story, I didn't let her shit on me because I understood who I was. And he's at a point right now, he's not letting people shit on him because he understands who he is. And that's my ultimate message is trust yourself, self-awareness, understand who you are, understand what you want, understand what are your values and your morals and the things that you are not going to stray away from. Don't let anybody create that for you. That's what they do in this world. They create your morality, they create your religion, they create the way you think. They even create what you look like nowadays, right? People can have a penis and say that she is she. What? That's nuts, bozo, crazy. I don't care who listens to this. It's nuts. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta come back and start to check yourself and see what's going on around you. It's a lot of foolishness going on. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it because you're gonna be looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? So So go within, man, and trust self. And it's easier to navigate life because you'll know when to step up and defend yourself like dude is doing. Is beautiful. I think it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Now let me ask you something, right? Because you know, we in the gym, like you said, you know what I'm saying? And I myself am a student of the gym. Don't get it twisted, you know. I might say something, you know what I'm saying, but I'm in a learning process as well, you know. It's a process of taking away those distractions and taking away, you know, trying to push away a lot of the, like you said, a lot of the outside voices and listen to yourself, right? And once you start to kind of build that identity, right, and rebuild, like we're supposed to be creatures of habit, you know, so the things that you do the most consistently. So as a person who maybe would have been listening to that outside stuff, right, you can't really stand up for yourself if you don't truly know who you are, right? So then how do you put yourself in a position once you kind of find that identity to like almost be tested? And I don't know, like the world is gonna test you, but like this stuff is a lot slower right now. I don't know, for me, I'm in the house and stuff like that, but just from what I'm asking is, if you when you establish that identity, you know, what can you do to make sure that you continue to stand firm in that? I guess is what I'm asking.
Just like you said, you're a creature of habit. The behaviors that you want to express, like you that person that you want to become, you just got to stick to that. You just got to stick to it, and of course over time you'll evolve and change. But what I say is you have to say what you mean what you say. You know what I'm saying? You can't necessarily like, okay, I'm this, and then I'm going back to that.
And
No,
you
you got to
flip.
stand. You got to stand firm, and what it is, and watch. And in a sense, like in order to do that, I feel like a few things has have to take place. You have to one change your mindset, of course, and once you do that, you have to kind of, in a sense, change the environment around you, like what you can control. Like, I mean, in some cases, some people have to work, so they
Mm-hmm.
can't control that environment,
Mm-hmm.
but they can control their home life. They can control who they befriend and who you keep around you, because they're going to give you thoughts as well. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to change the inner circle, or the people that you converse with the most, and that's going to
Mm-hmm.
help you stay kind of, in a sense, consistent to who you're becoming, more so than
Mm-hmm.
going back. Because once you put yourself, like if you take yourself and you put yourself back in that same environment, then you're
Right.
probably more than likely gonna go back and
You're
revert
more
back to
likely to
the same way.
backslide. Right. No, yeah, exactly. No, that's very true.
Yep. And I can
That's
only
some.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just from experience, no, it's very true. It's like, I mean, I've been in a stage of like almost constant change, you know, like over, but being in the same place, I do notice myself, okay, I want to regress a little bit. You gotta be conscious enough to actually catch that, you know,
Right.
and that's a completely different skill set in itself. You know, that's like self awareness, you know, and really getting at that, you know.
Right. Yeah, you definitely have to be conscious of, when I guess you would call it complacency,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be, when you're complacent with your mindset or whatever. And like I told you before, what I like to do, if I see myself going to the same patterns and I want to change it, I'll just change something in my routine, even if it's changing my route to work, or I'm not working more for anybody. But just say my first thing I do on Mondays through Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursday, I go through this little boxing class, like, so 9 o'clock. So that's my routine. So if I wanted to change something about that, I'll just change the route that I go there, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, just to start changing my mind, so I can start seeing different things like that. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, that, I don't know, for me that helps. I do small little
For sure.
because there's some certain things that are totally like out of your control. How people behave, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You can't control that. You can never control that, but you can control how you respond to people. You know what I mean? And some people may piss you off, and I feel like it's okay as a man. And what I learned, you know what I'm saying, it's okay to express yourself. It's okay to be mad. I don't know why we've come up with a culture where you can't be mad. You know what I tell my athletes? I tell my athletes, I don't care if you get mad at me. I don't, it's okay if you get mad at me. You're human.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna like everything I tell. I lay that foundation out up front. You're
Mm-hmm.
not gonna always be happy with what I tell you, because for some reason I feel like I have to say it, because we live in a culture where if you say something to somebody or you over critique somebody, you're gonna hurt their feelings. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, wait, it's okay for that, because I remember as an athlete when my coach, I was lucky and thankful, but I was undersized, but I was a pretty good
Hey, you
player.
played at Central too. I know. Hey, y'all don't play down there, boy.
No, for real, I was a pretty good player, but I wouldn't say
Mm-hmm.
my sophomore year or I would say my junior year, I was pretty good too. That I wasn't getting critique, or when I got to college, if I don't say I didn't miss a lot of blocks, but if I
Mm-hmm.
got, just say because I was smaller, if somebody pushed me in the back or whatever, and the coach would say something, I'm like, damn, I felt like shit. It's okay, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But my motivation was like, I'm not letting that happen. You know what I'm saying? Like my motivation was like, okay, if he's telling me this, because I'm like, my first coach in college was really good. He wasn't big on like talking negative to us. He would say, okay, how about you approach it this way? Instead of like talking down on us, he'll
Mm-hmm.
be like, try this step, do this. He'll always have a way to fix it, which was cool, because that's I mean, we're almost adults. We're not adults yet. So you don't want to belittle kids. You know what I'm saying? You want to talk to
Mm-hmm.
them and have conversation with them. And he played in the league. You know what I mean? So he had, he had a good mindset, and he had
Okay,
a
and
lot
he
of
experienced
answers.
that coaching. Uh-huh.
Yes, he had a lot of experience because he played the game,
Right.
and he helped me out a lot. And there was times, of course, like I said, when coaches, because I played special teams too,
Mm-hmm.
and as a freshman, they put me back there as like the up guy, and we were playing. This is my first time. I never did that
In high school.
high school.
Yeah.
So they put me back there because of my size, whatever, and they felt like I
Right.
could run. So I got that back there. We did what we were supposed to do, and I was running, right? And what happened was, usually I didn't know, like, if I had nobody to hit, he's still running, meaning he's running behind me,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
So I'm running, I'm like, everything opening up, and I'm like, I don't see anybody to hit. So it was just the kicker. I swear on everything. I saw the kicker's eyes. I was running up the sideline, and I turned around and I saw the kick returner. He ran into me. I was like,
Ooh.
nah,
Wow.
the coach let me have it, but not in a way where it killed my confidence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I felt like crap. You know what I'm saying? You watching film, that's a touchdown that I ruined. You know what I'm saying? So they had every right to go on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't, I didn't do what we went through in practice. I never turned around in practice. You know what I'm saying? So so the thing what he told me, because the special teams coach was an NFL guy too, he's like, never turn around. Never turn around. That was a touchdown that you just gave up. And after that, I'm not gonna lie, our special teams were good. Turk would take him to the crib. He was fast. He was a 4-2, 4-3 guy. You know what I'm saying? So when he touched it, all I had to do was make a block. He was out of there. You know what I'm saying? But I learned from that situation. So what if I was that type of kid that you couldn't give that criticism to? You know what I'm saying? Like, you, as an athlete, you have to be able to take when people tell you did something wrong. And I think we're living in a culture now where a lot of kids, come up with a culture, or they maybe, just like people say, they don't have a strong male figure or somebody in front of them, or even their mom telling them, nah, that's not right. And you have to deal with that. And you have to be okay with that and be able to make adjustments. You know what I'm saying? And everything is not going to go your way. You know what I'm saying? And I feel myself preaching to these kids as the years go on, the same thing, but having to kind of make the story or the message in a way where they don't get hurt or offended. You know what I'm saying? Like, they feel like, oh, I'm attacking them. You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like that's because of the culture, the new Kwame Brown culture of the Stephen A. Smiths, of just, you know what I'm saying, attacking people and stuff like that, man. And that's crazy for him to be able to take that. And we have a culture of kids who can't even be coached, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Not all, but you can't give constructive criticism to, you know what I mean? But dude, man, it's deep, man. It's deep, man. Like, I definitely want you to go look into that some more and see what other ideas you get, man. And we could get on. This is gonna be another one that I'm gonna have to like chop and edit. So I'm not gonna let the whole thing play like that. But if it's something else that you want to talk about too, what you call the culture, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely down to talk about it. Just let me know.
For sure. Yeah, I think a lot of it, it always circles back to that, And on a personal level, it's weird because I don't like, you find out the things that are important to you, and it's almost like you're fighting against it constantly, and it's tough because it's hard.
What do you mean?
I guess, and just if you, maybe, I guess for me, is what I'm saying is like, on a like moral standpoint and kind of the stuff that I value, and then you look at what's popular in culture, and you look at what's the most like pervasive ideas and stuff like that, and maybe they're the opposite. So you got to kind of find your space where, I guess not necessarily find your space, but craft your own space. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, right? And that's the tough part, the actual action that it takes to cut out your own little square in this thing we call life, the roller coaster, if you
The
will. You
roller
know.
coaster of life.
Yeah.
Man, if I could tell you some of the stuff that I've been through, even the family, I would say the only person that really knows some of the stuff that I've been through is Daphne. I tell her everything.
Hmm.
You know, we were always close way before you were born. So we
Yeah,
have
you
a
going over my head
relationship
now.
that Mama knows, and I don't know if Papa knows. I don't know how much Keka knows. I think my dad and mommy know, you know, because we were together before they came over from Haiti. And I know
Hmm.
you weren't born, and that people don't even
Hmm.
talk about it.
Hmm.
I used to when mommy lived in Miami, I used to always visit her during the weekend.
Hmm.
And when my dad was with mom, it was me and Daphne, because mama and Papa was in Haiti. They weren't here yet.
Oh
So it
man.
was me and Daphne for a long time. So like I only knew her, and then Keken was born. And then I
Right.
wasn't around anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
And
wow.
yeah,
See, I
yeah.
don't know nothing about this
No, nobody ever
portion
talks
of
about it. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? But
the
so me
baby
and her
effect
have a
is real.
relationship where I've always, like, when things happen, I feel comfortable telling her. You know,
Okay.
I might not even tell mommy, you know, or my dad sometimes. I'll tell her. And I just went through a lot of situations up here or even back home where I just had to trust myself
Mm.
because, like, my dad was there a lot, but it was a lot of things. There was certain things that I went through that I needed myself, and he couldn't save me. You know what I mean? And I think I mentioned it in one of my podcasts and stuff like that. It has something to do with his wife and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I had to, you know what I'm saying? I had to figure out who I was. And that was a big part of me not coming back home, you know, or not wanting to come back home because a lot of
Hmm.
things that happened. You know what I mean? But I had to figure out who I was and what I wanted because a lot of people wanted me to come back home. I'm like, nah, I don't want to come back home. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But I was grounded in who I was and who I was becoming. And the fact that, like I said, I got to be up here far away from the family. I didn't have a lot of people like speaking in my ear that could influence me. I was my own influencer in a sense. I got to choose who influences me. And I had an opportunity to kind of like maneuver and shape my reality
Hmm.
when I understood, because it was times where I was just going, didn't know what the hell I was doing. You know what I'm
Just
saying?
doing
Just kind of
right
following whatever path that was I
was
thought
in
was
front of you.
paved out for me,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
that I didn't really pave out for myself. I was just doing, you know what I'm saying? So I had got to a point where I'm like, man, this is what I want to do, because I will always had, like, just say thoughts of this. It's not just creating this EJ's gym.
Hmm.
I've always wanted to, in a sense, uplift the youth. I've always, like, right out of college, I was, you know, helping out at the Boys and Girls Club. Right out of
Hmm.
college, right while in college, I was helping my coaches run camps. It's funny what I'm doing now. That's what I was doing when I was 19 years old. You know,
Okay.
I would travel around with my coaches. We would go down to Atlanta. I don't
To
know if
run
you remember
camps.
Steve Smith
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Definitely.
played, yeah,
What?
for Charlotte. We did a camp down in Charlotte with him, and I have a funny story that happened at that camp. I don't know if I mentioned the story to you,
Okay.
but it was a magician. It was a crazy story, but Steve was cool. You know, I
Hmm.
met some NFL guys, and I learned how to coach. That's how I learned how to coach. I've been
Through those guys.
yes,
Wow,
no,
that's
not just
tough.
through those guys, my coaches
But
as well,
hmm
but just going to camps and watching them organize camps, or, you
hmm
know, being around it. I've been doing this since I was in college. So it's no secret, like, what I'm doing now. I never really thought of it like it's how it came full circle, but it was always something that I was in a sense into, you know what I mean? But man, it's like I said, it's a lot of stuff, you know, that I never really tell people about. But being the fact that I had, like I said, I was my own influencer, I had a chance to choose. I realized what Kwame Brown, what he was talking about, you know, that self-awareness and understanding who you are and what you want. Now, the environment that we live in can, from perspective, can seem challenging because everybody's telling you what to do and how to do it.
hmm
You don't know, you don't have the thing. The quote, not the quote, the analogy I like to use, if that's even a thing, is like you're not aware of a behavior until you're aware of a behavior. Like you don't know, like meaning just say, let's say if we can talk finances, right? If you're not aware of how to like make money or build your if you're not just gonna stumble upon that. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
if you see somebody doing such a thing and they tell you this is how I behave with money,
Mhm.
then you can pick up that skill. But if you never see anybody doing it, how the hell are you gonna learn how to do that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
So
absolutely.
go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's a big deal, man. Of you know what I'm saying, like that environment. You know, of like I told you before, you are that environment that you create for yourself
Mhm.
because like you're never aware of certain behaviors, and I think that's the biggest thing of
Till you
what we
step
get
out
with the
of it.
media. They portray certain behaviors with certain people. You get what I'm saying? So the kids that look like us, if you're not showing them somebody who behaves in this
Uh,
manner, yes,
oh my
yes,
god, that's too real.
yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's why he's doing
Our
that, dude. That's
only
why I was like, I love what this guy's doing, man.
nah, it's beautiful, and it's like for people that look like us, outside of athletes and rappers, like who else is being put in front of your face? You know what I'm saying? That's gonna give you another example of what to do and what to be like. Who to, you know what I'm saying? But no, absolutely.
Who to emulate. And the crazy
Mhm.
thing is, you'll see George Floyd getting choked.
Mhm.
You'll see, I saw this guy, his name is Little Reese. They just shooting the kid and he's just bleeding out of his head. I'm
Mm.
like, wait, how did that get on? How is that
That's what we could talk about. The on an internet tip,
right?
the way that they the way that that trauma is just so normalized now, and they just put it all over the internet. That's wrong. Now that's a serious. Somebody needs to address that. That's real,
Yeah, dude.
because
Go ahead.
mm,
Go ahead.
it's just less than desensitized. I feel like almost like on a very serious tip, because you're like parading it across the internet. It actually like will make a young child feel like their life means less, because you can nah that's been something that I feel like after the George Floyd thing, that really kind of pushed me off of social media on a
Mm,
very serious tip, because I was like, yo, I can't, like, there's enough stuff that I have to deal with, and then for me to watch this dude die on my phone,
right, right,
let me find something else to do. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Is but the thing is, what people don't understand is not about marching up and down the street. It's the perception, and
Mm-hmm.
these things that could continue going on. And this is what Kwame is talking about. You guys want to march up and down the street, but not talking about what the real problem is.
Mm-hmm.
Just like what you mentioned, that perception of a black man and the foot and all of that, and just like you said, the whole trauma, how people like they just desensitize humans nowadays. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And
It's a lack of value for human life, really, is what it is. How can you want more for yourself? You know what I'm saying? If you nah, it's being pushed through, and keep talking about the culture. Yeah, just that lack of value from that standpoint. It's hard for you to develop value in yourself if other people are already pushing, hey, it's not really that serious. This guy died on the screen. You can watch it type thing.
right.
It's not as,
Right. And
nah, that's square one, you know?
but that's the like I said, that is a big issue, desensitizing human beings, especially like if we talk about the culture or whatever and behavior. Like I told you, like you only know the behaviors that you know. So if we get rappers or athletes or whoever to portray a certain image, waving guns, flashing their chains, and these kids watching it, what are they gonna think? Okay, let me give you another side. So you show black guys or whoever, athletes and rappers, getting along, having a good time, having barbecue, sitting down with their family, you know what I mean, having a good time. Why don't we see that? Why is that not a big deal?
Even just, yeah, even just like like fatherhood and stuff like that, and like showing people like with their family in that regard. Like it's not the same, that push of when you see like somebody with their pops, and their pops is old, like a black, like how often do you know what I'm saying? If it's like a little kid, maybe, oh yeah,
Right.
this is my jit, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
whatever. But like a grown man with his
Right.
dad, how
Right.
often do you see that image, like like a 60 something 70 some year old black dad with his son that's grown, like a grown up, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's real.
That's real, man. So what about if they show images of, I mean, just let's fast forward,
Hmm.
like former players who
Hmm.
actually were smart, like a Kwame Brown, owning
Hmm.
businesses, creating foundations to help his community.
Hmm.
What if they show guys like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what
That
if
would
they
show that there's more to it than just the basketball stuff.
right?
Yeah.
So, just to say again and try to wrap everything up,
Mm.
is you're aware of behaviors that you see. If you're not exposed to a behavior, it's going to be really challenging to display that behavior
A different behavior.
or a
Yeah.
different behavior.
Right.
You're going to display the behaviors of the people around you and what they know.
Hmm.
Because you are the company that you keep. You are your environment. So until you expand that environment by getting to know more people or moving yourself to another place, you're just gonna be stuck thinking the same things over, over, over again.
Hmm.
So you definitely got to expand your world, and open your eyes, do your own research, start to trust yourself.
Read something, open a book, expose yourself to some new ideas.
Yeah, but don't just read a book, read the right books.
For
Read the
sure.
right books, and maybe that's something. I have some stuff on my phone, but I haven't read in a while. But like when I was going on my journey, let me see if I can see some books. I read some like Napoleon Hill books. I don't know if you know who that is.
No, I don't think so.
You say you don't? I was
No, I
reading
don't believe so.
no, You Are the Placebo. I love that book. That's a good book to understand who you are. Like you are the
You
placebo.
are the placebo.
Yeah. The compound effect. That's something that's a good one. I like the compound effect. Um Understand that. And let's see what's I'm not gonna lie, I read this Dale Carnegie book of How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah. I've
Dale
definitely I
Carnegie.
ran through that a couple times, or I listened to it as audio. I actually should run that back for sure. But
And another one was a good one for me. As a Man Thinketh by
mhm.
James Allen.
I just ran that back as well recently too, because I know
Uh,
you had recommended it to me
oh, I
before.
did.
And at the
Okay.
time,
Uh-huh.
because I was not, you know what I'm saying, I was not actually focusing on myself and really thinking about what I wanted, it did
Right.
not really hit the same for me. But I did just run back there recently, and I understood more so why you recommended it to me at the time.
Right.
But it took for me to shut off a little bit the outside stuff and really focus on myself and stuff
Yeah.
like that. No, that's a fact.
Right. Because the whole thing is like the name of the title. I love it. As a Man Thinketh, you are what you think.
Hmm.
So if you're letting those outside thoughts filter into who you really are, they're gonna start to affect the way that you truly think. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So that's why I'm always aware. Like I said, you have to be aware of who you are, what you want, and block out all the outside noise. Because most people can't even hear their own inner voice. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you gotta
The
understand
other
that.
stuff is so loud.
Huh?
I said because the other stuff is so loud.
Right.
It's in
And
your ear more than you
another
are.
book that I don't know if I mentioned it to you, and this will help. Like if you like creating platforms or making music and other things like that. It's called the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson.
Mhm.
Yep, the subtle art, but I'm not giving a fuck. Um, and it's just basically not caring about what people say about you or think.
I think you gifted me that one on audio as
I
well too,
did.
and I ran through it. I'm pretty sure, yeah, but I've been, I have it on Audible,
Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
listen to that
So
again.
yeah, that's just a few, and this is another. I think it was another book, but he has a series like this Napoleon Hill guy, Think and Grow Rich. It was
Okay.
a few that I read: How to Own Your Own Mind, How to Raise Your Salary. I'm not sure some of those if I completely finished those books. And there's a couple other books, man. I'm gonna tell you. I know we talk about women and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's this guy named, I think I might have showed you, Alan Roger Curry. He makes some good books. Oh man, I gotta tell you about this book. This book was good for me, and me and Donald talked about the book a little bit. The Alchemist by
Ooh, I got it sitting right there too
yes,
on my little bookshelf. I bought a copy of it at the airport to read through it again, as a matter
right,
of fact. So I got it
right.
sitting right here looking at it.
So do you understand that book?
It's been a minute since I read it. I think when I read it the first time, I might have been in high school, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I know it's just like, about following that inner call, whatever that is. Yeah, I'm glad I got back into that one for
Right,
sure. But
right.
yeah,
And you see how many times that he almost got thrown off his journey from following other people,
hmm
and then he watched like
the
people
girl.
like the girl, and then he was working with the guy at the store, and then when he started to hear everybody's personal legend, and some people never got there because they stopped listening to that voice. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I call it. I know a lot of people don't like it when it comes to religion, but that's what I call your God. And a lot of people may not understand what I'm saying, and I'm not trying to attack religion. I'm not in that space. I'm just trying to get people to be aware.
hmm
You know what I mean? Because let's be, if we're gonna be real with each other, we're starting to bring real back. Can I hear the inner voice that's going on in your head?
No,
That's your
not
God.
at all.
I would never know what your God sound like. Never, ever, ever. I'm using God as a word, as an analogy where people understand
Right,
because they
like,
understand that
cause
word.
yeah,
Because
in
words are
religion
just
you follow a being, right?
right.
Exactly.
Words are just agreements of what we're gonna say this means, right? Words
hmm
mean nothing. I'm just saying, like at the root of all, if I didn't speak your language, you wouldn't understand what I was saying. We speak English, so
hmm
we agree that the word God means this, right?
Right.
This entity or whatever you want to call it. So I'm speaking in that standpoint that you're the only person that can hear that voice.
hmm
But that means that thing or that being or that spirit is only tailored for you. So who am I but to help you, guide you to continue to listen to that, because that's for you. Who am I to tell you what to do but to listen to that voice? Because you're the only one that's gonna feel some type of way when you don't listen to it. You can blame everybody else, but you're the only one that's gonna feel like, damn, I should have did this.
hmm
And once I understood that, I almost said, fuck what everybody else got to say. You know what I'm saying? Not in that way, but you know what I mean? I'm like,
But
fuck that. I'm
I
gonna do
got
what
you.
I feel is right for me, what's right in my heart. Because
hmm
if I don't, I'm the one that won't be able to sleep at night.
Oh, nah, you damn near preaching to the choir right now. I feel like that's really what I've been like.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a student. I'm a student of the gym always, always,
Right.
always gotta keep taking in that wisdom, man. Cause definitely, like you said, if you don't listen to it, you're the only one that's gonna be unhappy, You chasing around other people's personal legends.
Personal legends. Yep.
Yeah.
Of whatever they think you should be or whatever they think life should be. Nah, it's
hmm
whatever you want to make it. And that's what dude said. It's like whatever you want to make it. You know what I'm saying? They lying to people out here because they're creating your reality. They're telling you need to do this system, you need to do that. And nobody's challenging it because everybody's just going along. That's why I always tell people, don't listen to other people, because most other people just go along with what other people are doing, and most people don't know what they're doing.
And most people won't tell you, but they're not happy with whatever they're doing. They're just doing it just just cause it's what they know.
Yeah,
This is tough, man.
that's the trick, man. But Hey, I know, man. We've been on it for a while, man. I'm gonna let
Mm-hmm.
you go, man. And this was definitely a good one. It went longer than what I expected, man. But
Oh, for sure.
some good stuff. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be editing it for a little while. I wish, hopefully, I could just let it roll and just chop off a few things, but
Right.
I might have to make it digestible for the people. But I like to let it at least roll for an hour or so. You know what I mean? I think that gives a good, like, for people that actually like listen to the podcast, sit down and tune into it.
Oh, for the audio as well, now for sure.
Yeah, yeah, because I'm gonna
Hmm.
upload it as well. I'll figure out how to do that. You know what I mean? But like I said, man, I'm gonna do my little outro again. I'm gonna try it again, man. And like I
You
said, I don't
got
know
it.
if you have anything else to say. We're gonna try to sign off again.
Good, man. You got it.
All right. So like I said, we all go through that roller coaster of life. So why not have a guide to elevate your mindset? Jim out. Oh yeah.
There it is.